Hey guys, this is Nerf16 Retro Kid here on YouTube. Sorry for the fan. We kind of got the summer heat coming in pretty early here in New York. So, with that weather talk out of the way, here is my Nerf history lesson. Overall on the Nerf Scout IX3. I will be cutting next up to what it looks like internally, opposed to mods I've done within the past. But before I get to that, I want to talk about this cosmetic mod I did, which is pretty simple if you when you unscrew this, which I will cut to later on. Basically, you just drill out the flat holes here and here. Sorry if it's upside down, but just to get the point across, just drill those out. When you get the slide out, I will not only talk about what it looks like internally, because that is definitely a story worth talking about on video. Basically compare it to what it looks like nowadays, where you can still buy it, hopefully, because this is a very old blaster. This came around easily 2006, maybe 2005, during the Titan kit years, which I will also be doing a video on the Titan and how you can attach it. I don't even know if I can still attach it, because as you may have noticed, I've opened this gun up so many times in the past, I don't know, several years, that I don't have the attachment clipping. Which, that all said, I'm going to cut to what it looks like unopened right now. Take care. And I'm back with the internals, and I'm going to have to grip a couple things here and there. But what you are looking at is a couple years worth of mess. So I'm going to get the obvious problem for my particular Scout out of the way, but recommended in case you have the stock spring. I cannot stress that enough. I'll get to that in a minute, but before I do, let me explain the mod itself. The penny mod. What basically is supposed to be a pretty simple thing. You just throw it in, and it's supposed to give you spring tension and more strength for your power. For my case, it was working up until the point where it was snapping the original stock spring. So the only thing I could at the time do a quick fix on was put the front gun spring of a long shots front gun and just hoped it worked. It fit actually pretty perfectly when I did this first time, but that was the least of my worries. As time went on, the slide was getting bulkier and bulkier to quick draw, because you're gonna have to sometimes when you dry fire or war fire some of these blasters. I took out the air restrictor on the plunger itself. I don't know if you could tell from my camera. It's an HD cam, so it's a pretty straight shot for what I did. The problem was the dart tooth, or the slide tooth, was breaking down after a while, after a lot of aggressive rapid fires that I was doing to it. And this was before slam fire was a big deal. So my only solution was, I guess, I forgot how I did this. I somehow got a hot glue going on to this, put some very thin scotch tape. I only just reopened this like a week ago and put the E-tape style Gorilla Tape. I don't really recommend, because one, it's not E-tape, and I'd rather recommend actual electrical tape, because that's actually where you're going to get a lot of sealage. For not only in case you have a problem like this, but for these holes on the front barrel. I stupidly put Gorilla Tape. I thinly applied it as of last week. It's sort of working for seal, for the air seal, but I'm not entirely sure until I take the penny out, which I just did. So, with all that said, before I get back to, again, reassembling this, which is going to take some off-camera work. That looks just about right. Yeah, this is what your blaster should look like when completed, if you have any problems like that. Another problem with my particular Scout is that I've reopened this so many times with the flathead, the Phillips head, that some of the screw posts have been breaking down after a while. Here's proof of that. I'm sorry for the extreme tilted angle. I'm really sorry about that, but I do not have the best bipod in the world. Just letting you know. That's why you get all those snapper noises all the time. And And you gonna stay there? Alright, good. And one last thing before I reattach the screw, reattach the blaster, is to get another close look at what I did with the cosmetics. It's a pretty straightforward shot when I did it with the drill. So yeah, you do need to drill it. If you can Dremel it, more power to you, but I would Dremel it in case you want to like clean it. So yeah, that is my history lesson so far modded. Now comes the hopefully really sad part about this blaster, at least in my particular Scout's case, the firing itself. As you may have noticed that with a mod history like this I've just explained, it's not going to have the best range. So I'm going to cut to that and see you in a bit. And I'm back, and I'm sorry to say this, but when I was reattaching it last night, yeah, it was pretty late in the night when I was recording the other two bits. For some reason, I had a bit of a seal problem again. Most likely I had to reissue some new tape on the slide tooth, and unfortunately, because of putting a little bit more Gorilla Tape on it, its seal is pretty good. The only problem is it's not gonna fire anything anymore. I'm just gonna demonstrate. Yeah, it's only gonna shoot just a little out. It wasn't really gonna matter much anyway, because when it initially had just the Scotch tape, it was just dripping like in and out. It was like there was like no range to speak of. Like with the penny mod before it, it shot a little bit further. And that's the thing with penny mods, you're gonna have to like really experiment with it, like make sure you got the right amount. You gotta get it like at least your stock spring. Like if you have this and it's then in box stock spring, treat it like it's the last day of its life, because these things are very hard to come by now as of 2014. Realistically, if you could find them, I recommend Kmart, because they have a 2-pack. Last time I checked, of this. If it's not there anymore, then this concludes my history lesson. But I mean, if you want to look at this online, like anywhere better than me, I heavily recommend Google searching a lot of paint job mods on this. Some for cosplay, some who even try to make this realistically look like I guess a clock or something like that. I don't know. It had different like wood paintings. Those are always like the cool types of paint jobs I always like to look at when I'm Google searching this kind of stuff. Another reason why I also have to unfortunately announce that this thing just lost its range completely than usual was because I was gonna like do a bit of a size comparison between the Zombie Strike that I just did recently, and an update on that. The comfort level in this is way better. Like slide wise, it's pretty much on par with Scouts, but other than that, not really much. Sorry to say. So, as much as I want to shoot this one last time, I'm only going to keep this for novelty, just knowing that I've owned something like this prior. I've seen people mod this on like other weapons, other Nerf blasters before. Long shot was the big thing they integrated this with. Just long shot in general used to be the one of those blasters you just like integrate anything to. You could integrate a pistol, another blaster, or another primary. You just like put the two together and just like, well, what do we do from there? Another thing, a lot of pistol blasters used to end up being is like you buy another one, you like put the two together, kind of like this, but well, you just chop off one of the handles or just fuse together with both handles, you know, things like that. So another thing I was gonna do, at least fairness wise, was to put it up against something that came out pretty much similar around the timeline when Scout was out. My heavily modded, can't stress that enough, Knife Finder, but nah, it was gonna like trump it in ranges compared to all the history of mods I've done to it. So yeah, before I go, I'm actually gonna just do one quick draw test on both just this and the zombie strikes. Let me get that set up. Let me just say, comfort wise, I'm still getting used to the side strike's comfortability, because when you grip it, it's kind of like a lock-in thing. It could be just my hand, my adult size hand, or yours as well. I don't know. Do I see this as a successor to Scout now? Yes and no, because at the same time, you're still, like I said in my review, you have to consider the price because of the holster. But it's still a mid-range kind of blaster, kind of like Fire Strike and Knife Finder, so both are still available in stores. That not so much, because that used to be part of a 3-pack with, hang on a sec, the Titan. For those who don't remember, those were one of the first like actual rocket launchers you could get. And I don't have my warhead. That sucks. So yeah. And it also had another blaster to it, which I don't want to talk about. I think it was called the Hornet. I never liked the Hornet. It was hard to mod. It was hard to shoot. It was hard to function as a blaster, at least in my case. So, I don't know. It could have been better on you if you did better mods than me, if you're an old school guy who watches my channel somehow. Hi, how you doing? So, old boy first, then new guy, and let's see where this goes. Not bad, pretty consistent. Oh, I mean, I could do a whole history lesson on the Knife Finder, because this thing has been treated with more care than Scout almost night and day. And I might. So last up, Scout. Scout 2.0 or Side Strike. I'm just probably going to call this 2.0 on this one. But yeah, pretty consistent. So yeah. Do I recommend the Scout? Yes. If you have it stock, keep it, cherish it as a treasure. Unless you have to go to a mod war with this. Like, look up all the mods online, be very careful with the internals, because it will backfire on you, especially the penny mod. It might come way better than this. Like, I have yet to own the Kmart version, but if it still has that nub little thing that's used to be designed for the how does this work? Oh, right here. Yeah, that's basically how this used to work. Like, all three blasters come together and just be like one big barrage attack. Did someone scream overkill? Ah, here it is. Yeah, so basically, how it works is like, you load this, pop, load this, pop, or there was like a one big everything button, and that was kind of how it worked. So yeah. With my history lesson out of the way, this was Nerf16 Retro Kid here on YouTube, saying, hey, it was one hell of a Scout. Take care, guys.